Good morning. So this is just like story time. I want to tell you a story about Fresh and Safe Cleaners and a story about Pinky. Her real name was Bondakar, but her family called her Pinky. I'll tell you a story of probably the most godly human being I've ever met in my life. So her religious faith, she was a Sikh. Right? You know, the Indian people wear the turban and stuff like that. That's their religion, is Sikh. It's like their the best way to describe it's like their version of Christianity is the best way I could put it. But it's like their version of Christianity. They have a Jesus Christ figure. It's like guru, right? And they believe in one God that superseded all of Hinduism, basically. Just like how Christianity superseded all the gods in Roman and Greek mythology. So, same thing, right? But let me tell you a story about Pinky Bondakar. You know, she was an Indian woman. She was like a few years older than me at the time. At the time I was 18, and she ran this dry cleaner. So. The time period was 2009, right? We were going through a horrific economic, we call it a recession, I call it a depression. Never seen so many abandoned houses in my life. And there was a mall in Sacramento or in Elk Grove, I used to live out that way back then. There was this like, and anybody who lived out there at the time remembers that like skeleton mall that was right off of Highway 99 in like Elk Grove that never got built. They basically abandoned it because they ran out of funds. I'm just giving you a description of the time period and how like catastrophic it was back then. But you couldn't find a job anywhere, even at McDonald's, bro. All the older folks and like college grads, all those people took up the little shitty jobs, you know. And like I was fresh out of high school, had barely graduated, and I couldn't find a job to save my life. I left Modesto, the west side of Modesto, and moved to South Sacramento, California. You know, even bigger, more of a shithole than I came from. Right? Not to diss west side Modesto. I always have love for the west, you know, but anyway, I didn't have a job to save my life. And then one day, this is like in it was like January, this is now 2010. This guy Rob, he used to smoke weed with, this guy Rob I met out there, he used to smoke weed with, he was holding the sign, and he had a stutter too. Let me just tell the story. I'll just give you a whole, like, you know, mental image. This guy Rob had a stutter. He was a Mexican dude. He was like, nigga, what's up, nigga, what's up? He had a bad stutter like that, bro. I swear to God, he was a cool dude, bro. And I walked up to him one day. He was holding the sign. I was like, damn, bro, you working at that dry cleaner, man? I really need a job. He's like, nigga, you could take this job. You know, cause it was hella cold out, bro. It was like 22 degrees that morning. It was hecka cold, bro. Ice everywhere. He's nigga, you take this job. You know, and I took the sign, you know, and he walked me to the front, and he said, you know, he let Pinky know, like, hey, you know, I quit. You know, give this guy a job. She's like, oh, okay, hey, T, or what's your name? I was like, Titus. She's like, oh, I'm gonna call you T. You know, my name is Pinky Bondakar. You know. And long story short, she gave me a job under the table. It was like $5-6 an hour cash. It was a terrible time in my life, bro. Like a horrible time, like horrible fucking time. Just dead broke. Man, I moved to Sacramento. I'm around all these crazy motherfuckers out here, bro. I don't know nobody. I don't got no backup. I'm not in the West no more, bro. I don't have a lick of backup, and I'm like, I have to make my way out here. But she wanted to give me a job, and she would always talk to me about God, right? I don't know what she saw in me, man, back then, because I just saw myself as an utter piece of shit, right? Like, I was just like, man, I don't have a future. I don't have any hope. I just want to smoke weed and just do fucking stupid shit, right? And she always said that. She was just like, T, you know, I see God in you. And she would always say, you're going to be blessed beyond imagination. You're going to have the greatest woman you could ever imagine. You're going to have all the money you could ever want. You know, and she'd always tell me, I never understood why she'd tell me that. She put the biggest amount of trust in me, bro. Like, it was like maybe after a month, she would have me open up the store, open up the cash register and all that. So I had access to the whole place, all the money in there. And like, if I wanted to, bro, like, I could just went in there and rob that place fucking blind. And there was times like you know, we all have this weird wickedness in us, but I was just like, man, why don't I just rob this fucking place, dog? What if I just rob this place, man? Just take all the money. It was like probably, I knew if there was about 4 bands in there, I could just took that shit and bounced, bro. But I was just like, you know, I was like, I can't do that, man. I was like, just can't do it. that was like the first time in my life where I actually had a conscience, bro. And I was like, no, I can't do that to this woman, man. She gave me a chance, you know, and she gave me a chance, man. And I was very loyal, you know. I got to the point where I was like managing the whole store because she had to, you know, take care of her parents, and she would go back and forth to India. So she would have me manage the whole store. And I was there for about a year. You know, she would let me use her car because I didn't have a car at the time, bro. I was like dead broke. I didn't have shit. She would let me borrow a car. She would buy me food because she knew I was starving, dog. She showed me the most grace and kindness of any human being I could ever imagine, dude. That I even remember to this day. And I always say her name was Bondakar. Her nickname was Pinky. I always just wondered about, like, I still wonder like how she's doing. You know, she was in the process of getting her arranged marriage back then too. So I always wanted to just reach out to her, but I lost contact. But anyway, I guess the moral of this is this, like, bro, God resides in all shapes and forms in people of all religions. There's no God doesn't just reside in a Christian, you know. And I knew this all the way back then, because, you know, I was still a Christian. But I learned that all the way back then. God resides in all forms, all shapes. It resides in people of all religions. God can reside in a Muslim, a Catholic, a Baptist, a Christian, just someone who's spiritual, a Buddhist, a Jain, a Sikh, doesn't matter. God can reside in all, man. And, you know, God speaks through all different vessels, man. And I learned, like, for the first time in my life what it means to have God with you. And I saw that in that woman, Pinky. So, you know, she extended so much grace to me, man. And she'd always tell me, like, Titus, you know, T, what she would call me, she'd, T, you're going to be so blessed in life. You know, you're going to be so blessed. You know, you're going to get everything you ever wanted in this life. You know, you're going to get the most beautiful woman. You're going to get, you're going to have all the money you could ever imagine. You're going to be a very rich man. And she'd always tell me that, and I didn't really believe it back then, man. Like, but, like, I just always, stuck with me in the back of my mind. Like, she would always tell me that. And a couple other people in my life would always tell me too, so. This year it's been a rough one, you know, but like I've just learned so much, man. I'm just very grateful for this year, even though it's like I've lost a lot. I know y'all probably lost a lot this year too, but keep up the faith. Don't ever give up your faith. You know, keep up the faith, man. You're gonna win, like you will. It's already written in the stars, bro. So don't trip. Just keep going and trust this process. It's in God's hands, and your ego can't control it. Have faith, and you know, hope you all have a great day. And just, it's a lesson of this little story is just like, man, God resides in all shapes and forms of all kind of people of all religions, man. You could be the most Bible thumping Christian and not have God with you. You could be a Sikh, you know, who's not a Christian or any of that, and God could just be residing in every ounce of your being. So hope you all have a great day. Peace.